Okay, I think we're going to be live any minute. I think we're live. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Atticus Live. How are you guys all doing tonight? All right, we got Susan Harper from Tennessee, Jessica Eidman from St. Augustine, Florida.
Nice. We got the Wandering Naps, also known as the Snaps.
The Snaps. What's up, Snaps?
Susan Harper, I think you already said her.
Brian Stevens, Daniel Oliver. We got Justin Coleman. Got Russell Fulmer. What's up, Russell? Man, thanks for all that wish list love. We appreciate that.
We've got Dave tonight who's moderating as always. Thank you, Dave. He's coming to us from Ireland. Cold, late Ireland right now. So, Dave, you're amazing.
Yeah. Okay, a couple more. We got Scott Tile, Mark Harrelson, Kurt Vesper, Shane Villas,
Hugh Van Dyne, Living the Dream, Veer Yee, Sean B, Bill Shea, hey.
What's up, Shane?
Trevor Evans, how's it going? Bob Smith. Man, we got a lot of people tonight. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
We do. And I think I fixed the audio delay problem. So no one's saying anything yet. I literally spent all day today trying to fix that. Next week's episode's going to be like, well, I'm working on the audio delay for our live stream. It's not, don't worry.
Oh, man.
So how are you guys today? Are you guys getting ramped up? Ramped up? Is that even? Yeah?
Yeah.
We're all getting ramped up. This live stream is wheelchair accessible. But yeah, are you guys getting excited about the holidays? I know we are getting pretty stoked. Desiree's family's coming here in a couple weeks, and that's going to be a good time.
Yep, and we just volunteered to participate in a Christmas boat light parade, so we're getting excited about that. Oh, thanks, David Daly, you're amazing.
David Daly, so you guys can see we got this fancy new thank you text that comes up.
Yeah.
Pretty fancy.
So let us know how you like it. We're just trying something new. We want to be able to thank people who donate through PayPal. So we've got a new link that you can donate through, and then it'll automatically pop up on the screen so we cannot miss you. So let us know how you like it.
Yeah, and just to clarify, it's actually not a PayPal link. So the link in the description, the link that Dave's going to be giving you guys, the link that you'll just see for doing donations and contributions, that's going to take you to our website now. It's like a little donation website thing, and it's really cool, it's really legitimate, and then you end up paying through PayPal. So
yeah.
Just to clarify any
and
confusion.
Tonight we're really excited because we're doing 2 giveaways. One of them is to a custom Project Atticus Seiko watch.
Yeah, right here. So, in fact, let me...
Well, if you click on the link, you can see a picture
No,
of
it's right here.
Oh,
there you go. So we got the watches on the right, and then this really nice holiday ornament that my father, that big guy, made himself by hand.
And
that's Atticus. Oh, and my mom painted them. That's right, yeah. So my folks made those, and then our really awesome patrons, Rob and Liz Miller, made that watch on the right. So we are going to be giving both of those bad boys away tonight. So to enter, what do they got to do?
Donate $5 or more on the live stream link that Dave is providing right now, or on Super Chat.
Yeah, Super Chat, or check there's a link in the description also. So there you go. Cool.
Yeah,
Very
and
fun
that
stuff.
ornament is actually a little trinket from our wedding from 2 years ago. So
That's
kind
right.
of special day for us.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a lot of love in that ornament.
Yeah, and Doug Hewling says, I want that watch. It's a cool watch, man. So Desiree isn't wearing hers tonight, but I wear this thing all the time. And this thing is awesome, and it's actually the kind that it winds itself. It's a self-winding watch. And so on the back side, you can see all the gears and stuff spinning as you move and everything. So pretty neat stuff. Doug Hewling, get in on that, man. So anyway, what do we want to talk about tonight, bud?
Yeah. Well, let's see. We've gotten a lot of projects done this week. Thanks, Dennis Anderson. You rock. What we could talk about the projects we've done. And then let's see, what are we excited about?
First of all, a lot of people are saying that they like the hat.
Yeah, that's good.
Which, let's just say Desiree is not as in love with the hat as some of y'all.
It's a little big.
I say y'all when I wear this hat, by the way. Yeah, it's a new thing. Anyway, I really appreciate I really appreciate all the hat love, guys. I really do. I actually really, really do. Because it's good. Because I'm like, hey, Desiree, isn't this such a cool hat? She's like, Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, guys, go ahead and shoot your questions at us. If you guys want to talk about anything in particular, let us know.
I've got a question from one of our patrons. Magnus Fish asks, maybe you've answered this in some of your question and answers so far, but what is in your extended plan, like your 3 to 5 year plan? Or is that too far away? Do you see yourself sailing around the world with kids and so on?
Well, yes. The brief answer, I think, for both of us is that...
Hopefully it's the same answer.
Yeah, right, exactly. We do talk about it quite a bit. And I think we just both want to have kids. I think we're both really interested in doing that. And we are concerned about being able to... Oh, Andrea. Thank you very much, Andrea. Appreciate it.
I can read it.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, we are talking about having kids. We're a little bit concerned about, the lifestyle and how conducive it would be to kids. But the more cruisers we meet that have kids, the more we're just convinced that it's just 100% doable. Mm-hmm. It's different. It's a really different kind of, way to raise a kid and everything else, but it definitely seems doable. So
yeah, we met this one couple that just bought a boat in the Anchorage here, and they went backpacking in Southeast Asia like 6 months after having their first baby. So that was pretty...
No, 2 months.
2 months? No way.
She was like, pretty much once I felt strong again, we went
They're
backpacking.
a really cool family. Like, they do jiu-jitsu together on the weekends, and what else? They're just really cool.
Yeah, and in fact, we just got wandering naps. The snaps! So the snaps are saying that we have 3 boys on board. There you go. So, okay, wandering snaps, where are you guys right now? And where have you guys been with the kids? We'd be really curious to know how that's going for you.
Definitely. I've got another question here from one of our donations. It says, can you tell us a little bit about your thought process in choosing a diesel engine over an electric engine? The pros and cons of each as you see it. Thanks.
Yeah, so, okay. My real brief, thoughts on this, because I really like the idea of going fully electric, and I hope to be able to do it at some point in our lifetime and in the lifetime of our YouTube channel. In my opinion, right now, electric engines are good if you are going to motor a little bit, and not very often, and you are able to recharge your battery capacity easily and quickly. So particularly boats that are in a marina, live in a marina, and they just motor out of the marina, and then they sail all day, and then they motor 5 minutes back into the marina, and then plug right back in. Like, for that kind of a boat, electric engines are perfect. If you want to use your engine for long distance travel, then electric isn't quite there yet. Mostly the battery a lot of the different components aren't quite there yet. And so if you want to be using your engine for distance propulsion, then diesels seem to still be the way to go. And now this is just what I've kind of read about and heard in my research. I know that Nigel Calder and the company he works with, Ocean Planet Energy, that's a lot of where I got this information from. So if you're curious about that stuff, check them out, both Nigel Calder and Ocean Planet Energy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's where I think it is right now, at least for us. And, I'd say that we're not ashamed to say that we love motoring, right?
Yeah, it's great.
We love motoring. We like sailing more. But man, if you're motoring up a river, if you're cruising on some super calm day, motoring can be really nice.
That being said, on our last sailing trip, we had the whole day to get 6 miles. So we also loved just sailing in no particular direction, very, very slowly. So it just kind of depends on what your needs are. And we kind of have to be on a schedule for our video uploads also. So having an engine is really convenient for us, because if the wind does die, we're not at the mercy of the wind necessarily.
Yeah.
Got some shout outs. David Daly says, rock on YouTube, most authentic YouTubers doing what you do. Aw, thanks David. Nice to see
Thanks,
you again.
David.
You're awesome.
Yeah, and Brian Stevens just said, don't go electric, get a sculling oar and go fully natural, like Sailing Oceans YouTube channel.
There you go.
And we've got friends right down the dock here, Doug and Suleika on, what's their boat name?
I don't know, actually.
I actually can't remember their boat name, but they've circumnavigated. They actually did the first leg. They crossed the Pacific in like a 26-footer. Anyway, so now they're on a 32-foot aluminum like twin keel boat, and on that boat they just have a sculling oar. They do have an outboard too, but he prefers the sculling oar. So that's actually not a bad point too. Yeah. You definitely still can go that engineless route, and especially if you've got kind of a lighter boat where the weight would, getting rid of that weight would make a big difference.
And I would say like a lot of sailors go through this like ebb and flow, this like pendulum of their wants and desires. So that same guy, Doug, they had a furled Genoa, and they're sick of it, so they're switching to Hank-On Genoa, and we're doing the opposite. We're sick of doing the Hank-On thing, and so we're switching to a furled Genoa. So I think, it's just based on what your personality is and what your current needs are and how hard you want to work and sweat.
Yeah, I hear you.
Versus kick back and turn that engine on.
Yeah, totally.
We've got a couple more thank yous from Steve Smith. We've got Dennis Anderson. Dennis Anderson. We've got Lon Pribble. He says, love your show. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Cheers.
Darren A., thank you so much. We've got Tattooed Jason. Nice to see you again. He goes, hashtag hat yes.
Yeah. Got
Doug Cole again in the house. Thanks, Doug. Stephen DeRoche. Probably said that wrong. Thank you. And we've got Dwayne Tanner. He says, hashtag hat hell yeah. Okay, you can go on. I got more later.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see what questions we got. Let's see here. So Eric Melkvik.
Nice.
Sorry, Eric. I'm sure I did not do that right. But Eric asks, he says, hey guys, love the channel. What's your thoughts? Just lost it. What's your thoughts on Dyneema standing rigging?
Good question.
And that's a great question. So one of our upcoming projects is going to be installing a removable Solent stay out of Dyneema. And so our new head sail strategy is we're going to be putting up a roller furled Genoa that we can have out at about 135%, be able to furl that effectively to about like 120, depending on how, it's hard to say. And then we'll have something just under 100% that'll go up on a removable Solent stay. And so I'm a big fan of Dyneema. I think in the future we may even completely re-rig Atticus 2.0 with Dyneema. They're still figuring it out. There's still a lot they don't know about Dyneema, but everything that they do know, it looks good. Mm-hmm. It's got great strength qualities. The thing I really like about it is that the failure modes are visible. They have visible cues. Mm-hmm. So like if it's UV damage, you can see it. It's starting to fray. And if you have chafe damage, same thing, you can see it. Mm-hmm. Whereas with, not traditional, but stainless rigging, you could have crevice corrosion and not see it at all. Mm-hmm.
Or you have to be an expert and get your special little microscope, which who has that? Or the time to go and look at every little strand on the...
Right. And not to mention, Dyneema is just a lot stronger for the weight, too. And so you can, be a little bit more conservatively, estimating your rig, I guess.
And it does seem like if you have any issues with it, it's easy to fix kind of on the spot. We've got Chad Artiaja says, little buds on boats. SV Someday donated and said, awesome. And then we've got DJP says, Have great holidays, you guys. Much love. And then Brad says, you're going to need a lot of donations if you're going to go lithium and all electric.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then we've got, I missed someone. Oh, yeah. L. Sumner 660 says, I hate the cold, snowy weather here in the Northeast USA. Aw, man. Hope you're staying warm today. Let's see. You can go ahead.
So let's see here. And somebody was saying here, Tim Leary says, and you can splice Dyneema, which is a great point.
Right.
The concept that you can actually affect a repair or, just have a spool of Dyneema on the boat and make little improvements on the boat. And things like soft shackles. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with Dyneema, and I think it's the way of the future for sure. Somebody was saying...
While you get them and do a couple more thank yous. We got Wind Lover Don Lenny says, Merry ho ho, guys. Jared H. says, what's up from Austin, Texas? Love the hat. Hugh Van Dyne says, so sorry could not get the one in the description thing to work, and it took me way away from y'all. No worries, Hugh. What brought up the name Bud? CTP Dan the man was asking.
It's a good question. I think, didn't we kind of say that we went through a couple?
We went through a couple. I think I don't know if you remember this, but I used to call Striver the Bud and the Buddy.
Your dog.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And so I think I started calling you Buddy jokingly.
Yeah.
And then it just
hey buddy.
Yeah, and then it switched to Bud, and now we're just stuck with Bud.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. So that's it. I'm named after the dog.
He was a really cute dog.
But you know who else was named after the dog was Indiana Jones. And that's cool, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm basically Indiana Jones, is what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm hearing.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Word for word. My words, not yours.
Yeah.
Dennis Anderson says, this is from my wife, Gretchen Anderson. Thank you, Gretchen.
Cheers.
And then Doug Cole again. Okay.
All right, so let's see here. We've got...
another one. Merry Christmas and thanks for all of your hard work and entertainment. Please have kids, said O Brothers.
Yeah. So, okay, here's a cool one. Wesley Collum was asking, when was the last time you guys talked to Dan and Kika from Sailing Uma? And we actually talked to them just the other day.
Yeah.
Because they invited us to their wedding.
We're so excited.
How cool is that? They're getting married in Vancouver. And it just so happens that it's going to be in, what was it? It's late September.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we want to go to the Annapolis Boat Show again next year. So, mark your calendars, guys. We want to see you there. But it should coincide with that. So hopefully we'll be able to fly from wherever the heck we are, hopefully in the South Pacific, and go hang out with them in Vancouver for a week. So that's going to be really exciting. And I think Kika wants to have a rematch with the beer chugging competition.
Yeah, I think she's been practicing.
Yeah, that's right.
KDH Anderson donated, and he said, love following your journey. Thank you. Dan Jazan donated and says, Furler.
Dan Jazan the man.
I probably said it wrong. And then Russell Fulmer says, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's, Team Atticus. And then last one, GHG Hutch says, thanks for sharing your adventure. I work for Adobe, and if you need to renew a license or get it for the first time, let me know via... Oh, that's awesome. Sweet. We will definitely do that. We're big Adobe users.
Yeah. So real quick, SV Sunday says, what are you guys reading these days? Oh. And I just read a book called Atomic Habits. So check it out. It has nothing to do with sailing specifically, but it talks about ways to kind of improve your habits. I won't go into it more, but I actually really liked it, and I consume a lot of self-help literature. I could use all the help I could get. And this one really, I think you guys would like it, first of all, SV Sunday, and I think a lot of you guys might like it. It helped me a lot. Mm-hmm, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm finishing up a book called Prince of Tides.
Yeah.
That's really good so far. I really like it.
Pat Conroy.
Yeah.
Prince of Tides. Yeah, that is a super cool book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
None of them are saily.
Yeah. So Atomic Habits and Prince of Tides.
Yeah, do you have any good sailing books?
Yeah. Oh man, that's a great prompt. So let us know your favorite sailing book, because I feel like the moment I think I've consumed all the best sailing books, it's like another one just slaps me in the face. I'm like, how did I not even know this existed?
You just started reading that Kretschmer guy, right?
Yeah, I read John Kretschmer's Serious Ocean recently, and that's a good book too. That's a seriously cool book. It's written in a way where it's very dynamic. Like you'll go from like this story of a crazy storm and almost losing a crew member overboard to like, you know, ways to improve an old boat to like this really awesome experience he had in Bermuda. Like it goes all over the place and it's super entertaining and helpful.
Seeing the World Sailing Vessel Ladybug asks, why is your first ocean crossing the Pacific Ocean?
Well, I would argue that we crossed the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Now, you can cross it the long way, east to west. But we did cross it north to south pretty much at its tallest point from Cuba to Panama.
But as far as crossing the Pacific instead of the Atlantic, I think we're both just really taken away by that fantasy of getting to French Polynesia and Fiji and Tahiti and the Marquesas, and it just seems like something that's so different from the rest of the developed civilizations that a lot of people are a lot more familiar with, like European countries.
Yeah.
And we also worked in Europe together while we were working on super yachts, so we kind of wanted to go to a place where we wouldn't be speaking our own language and where the culture would be so different from our own that it would be, you know, a really cool experience.
True. I would also argue that with our relatively brief experience doing offshore sailing, right? With the experience we have done, we've found that it doesn't really matter about the distance or the length of the passage. What matters is how comfortable is it. And so if you do 1 or 2 days hard on the wind and strong winds, that's going to be a whole lot harder than 2 weeks going downwind in the trade winds, right? And so in a lot of ways, we're doing the Pacific crossing as our first crossing. It might sound like maybe one of the more daunting crossings to take on, but in reality, you're going dead downwind, you're going with the current, you're in one of the most stable like wind zones in the world, you know, a trade wind passage. So in a lot of ways, the only intimidating element of it is the duration. Beyond that, it's you're going right with the wind. And so that's kind of something we've talked about as, okay, it sucks being hard on the wind. Like, let's start to really try to plan our routes to just go with the natural, you know, weather patterns.
And I was going to say, Pacific comes from the Latin word pas, which means peace. So it's supposed to be like a calm sea when you're crossing it at the right time. And then Ken Royal was asking, what is the libation in your cup? And I just made some cold tea, and I put the tea bags in it. And tea bags in Central America are the worst. So if you're ever visiting a cruiser in Central America or a remote area, bring them some good tea bags, because ours like explode, and then we end up drinking like grainy tea.
But this is we've told you guys before. This is like our dirtbag cruiser like drink of choice. You know, chilled tea from a water bottle that we just shove in the refrigerator.
It's good.
Yeah, it is good. But okay, and then there was another good question here. Somebody was asking. Okay, so Blimp Commander was asking, are you still on schedule for the Pacific crossing? And yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
It's hard to say because it's one of those situations where we had a ton of projects when we started this little refit. We've finished, and we had a ton of time, right? 6 months, I think. We've finished a good chunk of the projects. We've burned through a good chunk of the time, and it's just hard to say if we've got the time to finish everything else. Not to mention that we got a lot of stuff that needs to get shipped in. We're getting our furler shipped in. We're going to get our new sails shipped in from Precision Sails, which is going to be an awesome episode. Like, we're just totally revamping our head sail situation, which is just insane.
Yeah. I have a good feeling about it because Oh, man. There goes the Loom Cube.
Dang
Darn
it.
Too good to be true.
Let me see
I'll
if
do
I
some
can...
shout-outs. We've got Doug Hewling. We've got Hugh Van Dyne again. We've got Dennis Anderson. Oh, I already got you. Sorry. We've got Doug Cole again. Hugh Van Dyne again. Stefan Fay. How's it going? Ooh, what a cool little emoji. It's like a flying pear. We got a couple more questions. Let's see. Harry Cash asks, are there deserted islands that you can live on for short periods of time down there? Is that in Panama? Because probably. Your biggest limiting factor would probably be finding fresh water, although in Bocas Del Toro, which is where we are now, there is fresh water on the island, so I bet you could find one. I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of indigenous land out here, so you'd have to squat and make good with the locals.
There are a lot of people that do buy islands here.
Yeah.
Like, it's not uncommon.
To just buy an island.
Yeah, you're like, oh, hey, what do you do here? And they're like, yeah, I bought, that little island next to that big island. You're like, yeah. They're like, yeah, I own that now.
Let's see. Candy Anea, or that's gonna be how I say your name, says, do either of you speak French or are you learning? LOL. Neither of us speak French, so we are going to be screwed when we cross the Pacific. I got really excited and I started doing hardcore Duolingo in French, but then I lost the motivation. So I need to get back up on that because we're getting spoiled knowing Spanish over here. It's gonna be a completely different story when we get to French Polynesia.
Well, guys, we just lost our additional light, so sorry.
Got some ambient lighting.
So, yeah, it's mood lighting now. Yeah, cue the...
Bow chicka wow.
Yeah, what's the guy's name? I can't remember. Barry
Manilow?
Barry Manilow, that's who I'm thinking about. Yeah. Can we get some Barry Manilow, please? All right, so then we had another good question here. Oh, somebody was asking... why did... Here we are.
We choose a catch?
Yeah. What made the Allied Seawind our first choice of cruiser? And in a lot of ways, we fell into a trap that a lot of newbie cruisers fall into, first-time cruisers, and that is, well, just not knowing a lot about what kind of boat we wanted. So in a lot of ways, I just erred on small, cheap, and really, strongly built. And the Allied Seawind fell into that category, basically. I mean, that's probably the simplest way to put it. And there's a lot worse decisions that we could have gone with, than that. Atticus is a great boat, so, we definitely didn't go wrong. Mm-hmm. But, yeah.
I think I missed a couple of super chats. Sorry about that. Renato Binotto, thank you so much. Chad Saxon, you're awesome. He says, Buds, you rock. No, you do. Stop it. You guys rock.
No, you do.
I said you rock. You. Seriously.
No, you rock, Chad.
That's awesome. And then Playford Dunham says, love you guys. Keep the videos coming. I'm 4 kids on a boat. Awesome. And then Bill Skipsy. Cool last name. Skipsy.
Oh, real quick. Carrie Zeller says, can I buy your boat when you're done with it? You sure can.
You got a deal.
Yeah. We will be keeping... I'm going to write your name down right now. Yeah,
put your number on speed dial.
I don't know when, but in a couple years, we definitely will be selling Atticus. So, yeah we'll bring the bidding open to you guys first thing. That'd be cool. Sell the boat in a live stream.
Yeah. You get a boat.
You all get Atticus.
Bill Skipsy says, hello from Vancouver, British Columbia. You guys are awesome. I love your positivity. Keep it up. Aw, thank you. It's from all the self-help books Jordan reads. Brad Scott, you're awesome. Ashley and Angela Evans, thank you. Oh, they've got this emoji of a working out pear. I love it.
That is cool. Dude, that pear is getting pumped.
Pumping it. Okay. Francisco Puig. I probably said it wrong. He says, Feliz Navidad, guys. From Frank and Christy Puig. See you in Annapolis next year. Awesome. Blimp Commander.
What was that?
I don't know. Awesome.
That's like some sort of... I don't know, sci-fi, strength and honor, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
Peace be with you, brother.
Blimp Commander says, Merry Christmas. Are you still on... Oh, we got that one already. Happy Holidays, Blimp Commander. Brad Scott again says, how sexy would Desiree be wearing the hat? That's a good question. Did I steal your hat, bud?
Man, you do look good in that. I don't think you've ever worn it once.
No.
Like, this is the first time that hat's been on her head. Dang, that's awesome, bud. Yeah. Now you gotta, like, sing, like, He Thinks My Tractor's Sexy or something.
I'll practice that for next time.
Real quick, Miguel Castillo says, Jordan, when are you guys doing more spearfishing?
Cool.
And that's a great question. There's not a lot of good fishing here. For how beautiful the area is, for how relatively, the abundance of like just coral in general. There's not a lot of fish or sport fish, but we do have a friend that does do some spearfishing here, and he might take us out. You kind of got to go way on the outside, the real exposed areas.
Yeah, we're still waiting on our dinghy prop because we went, for those of you who've been watching, had a 3 dinghy prop, which had some problems, and we switched it to a 4 prop propeller on our outboard engine, and we can't plane on that, so we haven't really been using little shit. So luckily we've got some family coming in next week, and so they're bringing us our new prop, so then we can start doing some dinghy excursions.
And so then we can realize that prop doesn't work, and we can get another prop.
Yeah.
And so in about a year's time, we'll actually use our dinghy again.
Or we can
that'll be really exciting.
Start a prop shop.
Yeah.
CT Mansur says, what will be the most pain in the A project that you have to complete before making the next part of the journey? Can I answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
Probably the crack in the mast, right?
I wonder, though, because that's mostly just
someone else
giving it to... Okay, so we've cultivated a good relationship with a welder here. He's a Kiwi guy, calls himself Kiwi Dave. You guys met him in one of the episodes. And we've been working together on our security bars, which he finished them today, and we're gonna go pick them up tomorrow and install them. And I'm really excited about it. And Desiree is stoked. She was like freaking out when I actually brought them to the boat to dry fit them. Yeah, because she's just had a hard time sleeping on the boat in the past. You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's just psychological because most of the places we go to are very safe. And a lot of times when we're anchored out, it's hard to get to a boat to, break in and rob a boat. And the part that kind of just freaks me out the most is the idea of seeing the silhouette of someone in the companionway and just having that fear and that, like, my body just react. And it's happened a couple of times when I've had, like, our wetsuits hanging out outside, and I look outside and I see the silhouette of a dude, and my heart just beats so loud I feel like everyone can hear it.
Yeah.
So it's just nothing. We've never had any situations where we felt threatened on Atticus and all of the Western Caribbean, but I just would love to just not have to worry about somebody getting in the boat without us being aware of it. I could just lock that thing up.
And like I've started kind of putting it this way: the correlation from a boat to a house, having your companionway open, the forward hatch open, it's sort of like having a house, but not only not locking your front door, but literally like leaving it open at night, right? Like imagine if you just left all your doors open at night. And in some places that's fine, right? Like when I grew up, we would leave the door open sometimes just to let air flow through, but some places you do not want to do that. And so anyway, the point being that it's nice now that we will be able to lock up, so to speak. So we've built this relationship with the welder, and so the big pain in the A project of cutting the bases off of our mast and having new caps fabricated and new bases, that was really making me nervous before, but now that I know this guy, I'm getting to know him, I'm seeing what he can do, and it doesn't scare me nearly as much.
Yeah, that's great.
Put it that way.
And he speaks English, which is really nice because, doing boat work in Central America is a little bit like doing a big mathematical problem and jumping on one foot at the same time because you have to also speak a different language.
Yeah.
So it's challenging.
Yeah, and I will say, though, one big pain in the A project that's going to happen, it's not a project, it's something we have to do, is simply hauling out the boat. Because we are hearing that the boatyard here, although it's got everything that you need, and so it's a great spot for us to do the work that we got to do, sounds like there's a lot of bugs. And so I'm not looking forward to that.
And I think one of the reasons we stayed here was because we didn't actually realize that we'd have a boatyard option, and we're excited that one exists. But we've also been told that they don't have like overnight facilities necessarily, so it's going to be peeing in a bottle kind of thing.
Yeah. So we got a couple of questions specifically about spearfishing, and so Wesley Collum says, speaking of fishing, will you do some crossing the Pacific?
Oh.
And we definitely will.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and get the appropriate rig set up for tuna for sure. And then on top of that, I really would like to try blue water spearfishing. And the idea is you get flashers that go on a buoy. So it's like this vertical set of flashers that kind of like wiggle with the waves, and so they shine and they attract,
So we'd stop somewhere?
You would stop in the middle of the Pacific and you just hop in and you put that flasher out. And like I watch YouTube videos of it, and it's cool because when it works and you get like a school of tuna, like you'll get these pelagic fish just kind of cruising around checking you out, and you just kind of like wait for it, boom, and then you got this huge fish on. So we may try that, I don't know.
If it's clear, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Susan Knapp says, we're about to change all of our lifelines to the Snaps. There's another couple on here with the last name Knapp as well.
Wait, there's more than one.
Yeah, so
Knapp.
Susan Knapp is the Snaps. Oh, Snap.
Oh, so the other
one.
Naps.
Yeah. We've got
the one with the kids are not the Snaps.
I don't think so.
Nap.
2 Naps. Oh, Snap.
Okay, so and then I wanted to say somebody was... Oh, Trevor Evans was asking, are you ever worried about sharks when spearfishing? What's more effective, fishing or spearfishing? And I feel like if you're in the right boat, in the right scenario with people that know what they're doing, normal line and reel and rod fishing is probably more effective. I mean, I've seen people just pull tons of fish out of the water if they're in the right spot, right time kind of thing. But if you don't know exactly where you got to go, exactly what you're doing, I'd say they're probably comparable, but spearfishing is just fun, right? And then on top of that, I would say with the sharks, we've never had a problem.
Barracuda, yeah. They've never attacked us.
We've not had problems.
Are you kidding me?
With barracuda. They just follow you, right?
Yeah.
They're like dogs at a dinner table, right?
Yeah.
They just kind of like hope that you
but their
literally
teeth are
have
sticking out
scraps
and they're just
that
coming at you like this.
they look scary. So anyway, we haven't had any problems, but yeah, you got to be careful. You definitely got to be careful. The main trick, I think, if you're in real sharky waters, you want to not like kill a bunch of fish in one area. You know, if you know there are sharks around and you shoot one fish, you should probably just move to a different spot, because that blood gets in the water and they kind of start coming. But go on.
I was saying, that being said, we know a lot of spearfishers who just get used to sharks around, and like you can poke at them to what do you call it? Not scare them or startle them, to intimidate them to get away. And a lot of times, because you're bigger, they'll kind of go away, but then they'll come back. So our comfort level isn't there yet, just like poking at a shark and be like, hey, get out of here. But we've heard with spearfishing, it's somewhat common, and you should just get used to it. So we'll see. We'll let you know when we get there.
Yeah. But somebody was saying that ciguatera is a big problem in the Pacific, and that is a really great point. That's Ken Royal was saying that, and I've actually heard that. I can't remember who was saying it, but I mean the Pacific has a real issue with it. So
I got another question. Ricky Stebbins asks, have you guys done any sea survival training? No, that would be awesome.
Sea survival, like in a life raft?
Yeah. I mean, we both worked on super yachts, and so we had to do a little bit of like rescue swimming. That was basically it.
No, you learn a couple things. Like they teach you They have a survival part of that course.
Right.
I remember the main thing I remember is if you're in a life raft, you don't eat or drink anything for the first 24 hours. And that's because if you do that, your body will recognize it's in an emergency situation and it will conserve water and energy. Whereas in your normal everyday life, you really just blow through water, so to speak. And so if you kind of tell your body like, nope, we don't have any of that, then it goes into conservation mode.
That'd be really cool.
Why am I saying that? I'm like, yeah, I know this one thing about survival.
This is how you do it.
Yeah, so no, we besides that, that's all I got. That's
What about
literally
any of you guys out there? Have you done any sea survival training, and what was your biggest lesson?
Right.
Please share with us.
Yeah, great question.
We have a couple of books on board just in case, but you never know.
Yeah, we did read that Adrift book.
Yeah, that was intense. Not the one that they made a movie about. This is about a solo sailor who ends up in a life raft for, I think, 86 days at sea. It's insane.
Here's a good one for you, bud. So Russell Fulmer asks, can you do a talk about seasickness and how to get over it, or meds that help with that?
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've struggled with seasickness for a long time, and I still get seasick. And so I think some people are just more susceptible to it than others. And so for me, I found that I don't like taking any kind of oral medication because everything I've taken orally makes me feel even more nauseous, or not nauseous, I just feel different in a really kind of nasty way, or I feel so tired that I'm completely worthless. And when we're doing an ocean crossing or a passage, are we still alive?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay. I need to be sharp so that I can pull off my watch schedule, and if I'm dreaming about sleeping, that just is not going to work. So what I like to do is I have a spray bottle, and that helps just to kind of keep me cool. I like to lay down. I know a lot of people say you should be looking at the horizon, but that doesn't really work for me. I like laying down. And then I have tried those patches that you put behind your ear, but those are kind of expensive, and you need a prescription. Although I've heard recently that there's some website that you can get them for like $30. And if you want to make them last a little bit longer, this is a stewardess trick. You can cut them into you can divide them into smaller sections so that you don't need the full dose. Because a lot of times that full dose is actually really strong. So hopefully that helps. Somebody sent us this like a taser that you wear on your wrist that can like zap you. And I don't know if any of you have tried that. Sounded a little bit intense for me. But I've heard that works for some people. Let us know.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that when it comes to seasickness, the number one thing is I think a lot of people kind of get really concerned about cruising because they get seasick.
Yeah, and I used to be like that too.
Yeah, and I just think it's really common to get seasick. And it's one of those things where you hear people be like, oh, I don't get seasick.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, great, don't talk to me. You know what I mean? Because the majority of people get seasick, and so it's just a varying degree. Desiree gets it worse than I do normally, but I still get a little bit seasick just about every time we go offshore. And normally, if we're offshore for more than a day, like day 2 is normally better for both of us, really. And then by day 3, it's generally totally gone. And I've heard a lot of sailors say, like, if you just get to day 3, like beyond that, your body really, kind of acclimates to the situation. So I think more than anything, because seasickness it's a lot of like snake oil or whatever you call it, right? Like just a lot of treatments that I don't think actually work. I think it's mostly just accepting that it's okay to be a little bit sick, and you'll probably get better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what I learned. At working on yachts, I would be like serving dinner in one room, and then I'd go in the back and throw up, and then wipe my face and my hands and be like, can I get you another glass of blah, blah, blah? Right. So your body is stronger than you think, and you'll get through it. It'll suck so bad, but you'll end up in a really beautiful place if you just make it through the passage.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way I think about it.
Yeah.
And so I still dread passages in some respect because of that. I'm like, oh, great. Here we go. What's my body going to do this time?
Right. Yeah, totally.
I got some shout outs.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Bill Shea, he says, hat money for Desiree. Awesome.
Awesome.
Stephen Fay, thank you again. Hugh Van Dyne says, okie dokie, you got me. Here's 5 for the ornament, too. Awesome.
Rock on.
Jeffrey Hayde says, giving us a #1 fan emoji. Trevor Evans, what? He says, hey, Desiree, don't forget to read my message on Patreon. I need some more details to send you your dry bags. Oh, awesome. I will do that. Thanks, Trev. DJ Dies says, my PT trainer bought the book you recommended and is excited about working super yachts. Oh, that's so cool. Thank you for your guidance. Y'all rock. That's awesome.
Cool. Okay, so we got 2 questions from Davey T that are I like them both. Says, been watching you guys for some time. I'm curious about why the seemingly universal 2-hour shifts on passages. I think I would be up for 4 to 6 hour watches unless bad weather. And so that's actually something that I've read a lot about. Like Beth Leonard talks about this, where normally new cruisers want to start with short watches because they're intimidated about staying up a lot at night, basically. And over time, you slowly move on to longer watch shifts. And that's what we've done. So we've moved into 4-hour watch shifts, particularly now that we have become comfortable with taking short little cat naps if we're really tired on watch. And so we basically just set, if it's dark out, we just set a 10-minute alarm on our phone. And if we fall asleep, great, that wakes us up. If we don't fall asleep, great, it tells you it's time to scan the horizon again. Mm-hmm. And you just do that 10-minute alarm constantly throughout your 4 hours. And then if you doze off, you doze off, and it's just not a big deal.
And I don't know if you went over about why we like 4 hours. For me, did you talk about that at all?
No, but you can go into it.
I like 4 hours because it's enough time to kind of get changed, get settled in bed, pop in an audiobook and fall asleep and get like a solid maybe 3.5 if I'm lucky hours of sleep. If I get anything less than that, I just feel wishy-washy. Whereas if I do 4 hours for like 2 days straight, my body is kind of doing okay after that.
Right. And you also got to think about like the transition time, right? Like if the person who's asleep wakes up and has to swap with the person that's on watch, even if you do that really efficiently, you're losing 30 minutes each, right? Because this person has to kind of wake up and get their clothes on and get up. Then that person has to come down, get settled, fall asleep. And so you every time you have a watch switch, you're both just losing potential sleep time, right? And so the fewer switches, the more time you effectively have to sleep. And so that's a big part of it too, is just having less switches. I mean, maybe we should start doing 6 on, 6 off. You know, it's something to think about.
Maybe during the day.
Yeah.
We'll try it. I like the 4 on, 4 off. I like the consistency. Mm-hmm. A lot more thank yous. We've got Matt Miller. We've got Steve Roller. He says, you are amazing. We've got Courtney Rennie. He says, keep up the good. Courtney, he or she says, keep up the great work. Chris B says, thank for the watch, guys. LOL. Tom Murphy says, Jordan and Desiree, just a heads up. Your wish list items were delivered yesterday. Ah, cool. To Sarasota address. Not sure how you get notified on your end that a package is in Sarasota. Awesome. And we've got people on the ground.
That is awesome. So, and Tom Murphy was saying that you got us the new the Sony Handycam.
Oh, thank you.
Is going to be very, very helpful because that thing is just really small, unassuming. It'll be easy to take into kind of social situations in third world countries where you don't really want to have this big fancy camera thing.
And my mom got that package and she couldn't figure out who it was from. So mystery solved. That's awesome. Thank you, Tim. Tom Murphy. You're amazing. I have some more thank yous too.
Okay, real quick. So Davey T, real quick, just asked if toting a small TIG welder and having welding skills could make enough money to sustain a cruising lifestyle. And absolutely. In fact, we worked with a couple, John and Eon from Second Star, in East Mujeres, and that's exactly what John did. And so if you want to see that whole situation, you can go back to season 2 and go to the one, I think it's called like Where the Heck is the Boat or whatever, where we
got a couple more thank yous. We've got Kimberly B. We enjoy watching your videos here in Delaware. You're such an inspiration. Thanks, Kimberly. You got TJ Strain with a dancing pear. I love these pears. G. Pittman says Atticus Stetson in the store. Nice. Thomas Fillinger says you are amazing. Wow, this is such a great way to feel good about yourself, huh? Brad Scott says buy more self-defense safety flares. Good idea. Stephen Duncan, thank you very much. Sam Sailor, nice. Gonna buy me a boat. Awesome. Darla says, hey buds, I want to win the ornament made by the big guy, so I had to log on separate from Steve for more chances to win. Happy holidays. You're awesome, Darla. Brian Stevens says, get a sculling oar. I will be in 4 years. Awesome. And then Steve Duncan says, clearly I screwed the last one up, but D, you go rodeo anytime. Yeehaw. Awesome. Okay.
Cool.
Oh, wait, one more. Stacy DePaolo. I love saying your name. Merry Christmas. Are you going to take a break from fixing the boat to spend time with the family, or will you put the family to work? We are going to do a little bit of both. We're participating in a boat parade here in Bocas, and so we're going to spend a day decorating with my family. And I'm going to put my sister and my brother to work by dressing them up as Ariel and King Triton from The Little Mermaid, because our theme is going to be under the sea. I'm really excited.
Yeah, that is actually going to be kind of an interesting experience for us, because we're really going to we're going to make an effort to win this Christmas lighted boat parade thing. So it'll be the better part of an upcoming episode where we just, actually put together this whole lighting thing that we've got.
Yeah, and if any of you guys have made like really awesome boat decorations with lights before, please send us some photos, because it's actually hard to find photos of how to decorate your sailboat in like creative ways. So we've just been like scavenging the internet trying to figure out how to dominate the boat light parade.
Yeah. Well, here you go. But please let us know, like send photos to our Facebook or whatever, because we're really trying to get as creative as we can on this. So Aquarella
nice.
asks, any book recommendations on motivation? So that's a good question for you. Do you guys have any good book recommendations for motivation? I would say, and it's kind of, I guess he's a controversial figure, but 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson is like the best motivation thing I've ever read. So I would highly recommend that.
Yeah. I can't think of any. He reads everything and then tells me about what he reads.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm just like I'm that dude in the self-help like section of the bookstore. I'm just like, how to take yourself to your fullest potential. I'm like, oh yeah, that looks interesting, Yeah.
That's great. We got L Newman, we've got Junior, we've got Boo says, love you guys, love to come aboard. Nice. Sailing with Grace says, awesome, keep it up. Bob H says, for the baby fund. That's awesome. Ruth and Simp72 says, love what you were doing. This is my dream. That's really cool. Hope to see you out there someday. We've got Mark and Chelsea says, love supporting you guys. CB3 says, Merry Christmas, buds. Desiree looks great in the hat. She should get one of her own so you guys can step across the deck for New Year's. Hey, I like that. I do love matching. If matching is involved, I'm down.
That actually, yeah, how did we not think about that before? You would love that. We just walk around town with two of these. Dude.
We need to have like a boombox that's playing Western music, like
yeah. And we need boots with spurs, just like roll around Bocas Del Toro.
And a big belt.
Be like, howdy. Hola.
We've got Rambling Rod says, howdy Podnas and buds from Sheen Marine. Awesome. We've got Chab Bink. I think that's how you say it. You guys are an inspiration to about to be cruisers. I hope to see you out there. Same back to you. We've got Kimberly B says I already got that one. I think I'm caught up. Warren Drums, love and hugs to you both. Charles says, thank you. See you in Annapolis. I think we're caught up.
Rock on. Cool. Yeah, so we got a little bit. Windpipe says, love me some Jordan Peterson. And then actually, where was it? Somebody was saying, yeah, Mike Mike Serprenant says Atomic Habits. So there you go. That book actually is kind of getting pretty popular right now. So that's another good one. If you're like, really, it's not like a BS self-help book. Like it's actually pretty cool. So I would highly recommend that book. Yeah. And then for like sailing inspiration,
Lambardi.
Yeah, I think definitely reading like people's cruising accounts. So that was one cool thing about John Kretschmer, but his is also a lot of like gnarly situations. But yeah, like cruising in Seraphin and all that, like that's really cool stuff. And Beth Leonard wrote that one. I can't remember her book like actually about cruising. So anyway, there's a lot of sailing literature out there that'll get you stoked.
Got a cool question?
Yeah.
Frank Tartan says, how many days was your longest passage? I think 5?
Yeah, I think the trip from Grand Cayman to Providencia was 5 days. Maybe like 5.5 because it was verging on 6 days. Yeah, so that was a long trip, and it was slow going. We had to go way out away from the Nicaraguan coast, and there's no wind, and so yeah, that was a relatively long one.
Also got Rob Brandon and Jeremy Sebring. Thank you. Go on.
So we got a couple people. The latest ones is Buzzard Bait Motorsports, but there's been a couple of you guys asking about life rafts. So I'm sorry I didn't get to mention all of you, but asking, have we gotten a life raft yet? We haven't yet, and we're sort of in the middle of figuring our options out. And so we've got a couple options, and we're potentially going to have one for the crossing.
Oh, Ricky Stebbins says, I'm a survival instructor. Would love to get you guys up here to Connecticut. Oh my God, that would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Can you separate us and see who survives longer?
Yeah, that's right. Do we have to be naked?
Yes.
Is that how this works? Is it important that we're naked, Ricky? Let me know.
That would be awesome. We are planning, like Jordan said, to be in the United States next year around October for the Annapolis Boat Show. Maybe we can slip in a survival training. That would be so cool.
Por qué no?
Oh, we could even have a couple patrons come. All survive together. Okay.
So here's a good question for you, bud. So this is the Wandering Naps aboard motor vessel Illuminati, which is not the Snaps. They're the Naps. So the Naps are asking.
You all should meet each other. The Naps and the Naps.
The Naps are saying, Jolene here, I can't wait to get out of the Keys. What is one thing you wish you stocked up more on while in the States? We are getting all provisioned. So, and one thing I will say real quick about that is that, we were really wanting to get out of the Keys. We were in exactly that situation. And now that we've seen a lot of the Western Caribbean, I think that the backcountry of the Florida Keys is actually an extremely, unique cruising ground. And so I would say it has nothing to do with provisioning, but make sure you are taking advantage of cruising in that area. Just because there aren't a lot of places quite like that, where you've got this sort of tidal flow cutting up a island chain like that. So.
But as for provisioning, definitely as many spares as you can get, and manuals for all the big systems you have on board. Like Jordan ordered our Tohatsu manual, and we have our Beta Marine manuals for everything. And then as far as food stuff, it's really hard to find kind of fancy teas. That's something that I always love and miss. And then let's see, any kind of specialty item, like if you're into Dijon mustard. Olive oil is really hard to find until you get to, it's not hard to find, it's just really expensive until you get to here, actually, Panama. In Guatemala, a big thing of olive oil costs like $50. Pretty crazy. So yeah, I'd fill up on olive oil. What else? I can't think of anything. What do we always are so excited to see? Oh no, LaCroix.
Yeah, I guess we've sort of just become fatalistic in a way too, because when you can get good stuff, you do, and when you can't, you don't. And maybe if we had more storage space, we'd have a different viewpoint on that. We could actually have enough stuff on the boat.
Ooh, sesame oil, that's a good one. Like your Asian spices are hard to get till you get to Panama.
Yeah, so, but as for spares, that is a great point. Like, definitely having, like, as much as you can in the way of things that need to be replaced regularly, you know?
Also, I've noticed a couple of comments about the on-screen graphics, and this is something we're totally trying out for the first time, so let us know if you like it or if it's too obtrusive. We'd really be interested to know so that we can try it again next time and use it from here on forth, or just shut it down. Let's see. You got a question?
Sure do. So, let's see here. So Steve Burdett says, how many days do you expect it to take to cross the Pacific? Is running out of drinking water a concern? And it's definitely a concern. It's probably the biggest concern, really, is making sure you have enough water and provisions. And what we're hoping to do is we're still in the process of deciding on a water maker, and we're communicating with a couple different water maker companies to just figure out exactly what we're going to do. And we haven't settled on one quite yet. It's coming down to the line. But that's going to be our plan, is to have a 12-volt water maker. The models that we're looking at all run between like 8 to 10 amps at 12 volts. And so that means, and they produce anywhere from like an average of 7 or 8 gallons per hour. And so the idea would be that in an hour every other day we could produce enough drinking water and a little bit of bathing water, and that's just an hour every other day, and so we'll be able to do that easily with using just solar. And so that's our plan right now. As for how long it'll take us, we're probably going to it's hard for me to say, because it depends on the current. It depends on how long we're in the doldrums for. It could take as little as 3 weeks. It could take as much as 6 weeks, really. Our goal is to basically skip the Galapagos, I think, cruise north of the doldrums, and the further west you get, from what I understand, the narrower the doldrums are. And if you're not familiar, the doldrums are this band, this like latitude, this band of very, very little wind and lots of squalls and stuff. But that band is thicker on the east side of the Pacific, and it gets narrower as you go west. And so we'll stay north of the doldrums until we get quite a ways west, and then we'll just shoot straight across the doldrums. And so ideally we won't be stuck for too long. So I think it's time.
Yes, I just crunched the numbers with my random number generator, and
okay, you gotta make it a big deal.
Okay.
Are we ready? Okay, so what is the first thing we're going to talk about?
The ornament.
Okay, so we are now going to reveal the winner of this freaking amazing ornament that's on the left. Are you guys ready?
Winner.
Let me hear you say, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, buddy, who is the winner of the ornament?
It is J.D. Dyes.
J.D.
I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Dyes.
Yes.
Okay.
So shoot me an email at des@projectatticus.com, and we will get you set up. And then the winner of the special Project Atticus watch.
The special Seiko Project Atticus watch, handmade by the Millers.
And actually, the wristband is actually navy blue, but it's still really cool.
Yes. Yeah.
That is Dwayne Tanner.
Dwayne Tanner.
Yay!
Come on up, Dwayne.
So, Dwayne, same goes for you. Send me an email at des@projectatticus.com, and we'll get you all set up.
Okay.
Cool.
Very cool.
That's really awesome.
Well, guys, thanks for playing the game,
Yeah.
and we'll probably get wrapping up here soon. And yeah, if if people want to let us know what they thought of our new kind of arrangement, how should they do that?
Comment in either, I guess, once this live stream is published, you can comment there, or comment here is fine too.
Okay, gotcha.
Right.
So yeah, because we are curious to know what you guys thought of this new, payment structure thing, the words thing, trying out different stuff. And
We could do a poll on our community tab also. Do a poll.
If only we had somebody that could set that up.
Yeah.
I wonder. Anyway, what I learned from this live stream is we need to buy a second hat.
And a loom cube.
Well, we did get another loom cube, so that's good. So, anyway, well, hope you guys had an enjoyable live stream. I know that we sure did.
Yeah.
And
thank you, Dave, for joining us tonight. You're amazing. Also, if you guys never want to miss a live stream in the future, you can text the word Atticus to the number 43506 if you're in the United States, and you'll get a free text notification the day of every live stream and then 15 minutes before every live stream.
And say that number again.
43506, and you can find that on our Facebook page and on our community tab on our YouTube channel.
Cool.
And then we also wanted to thank WeBoost for making this live stream possible, so that the signal is strong enough to do this live stream in our own home.
Very exciting. Yeah, and hopefully the image was good and there was no weird interruptions. It seemed like it was technical problem free, which was
good job, bud.
Knock on wood. It's all those self-help books I've been reading.
And then we've also got our holiday wish list, which we link to in the description below if you want to get some ideas for presents to get your sailing friends. And I can't think of anything else other than hope you guys have an awesome holiday season. We probably won't see you live again until next year, so send us pictures of your decorated boat or house, and hopefully help us get some holiday cheer so we can win that boat parade.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, and I saw Brad Scott was commenting a lot, and I didn't say what's up to Brad, so as we close, this is for you, Brad. Panama, bow, 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 Panama, bow, 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 Panama, trying to end the stream. Panama,